Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is, once again, Loam Pox, one of my favorite decks to play on the channel. And as is always true in these cases, you don't play Pox on the channel, nobody asks for it for like 4 or 5 months, and suddenly I play it 3 times in 1 month. We're at the top of the Pox cycle, in the pandemic, if you will. And this time it comes from Patreon subscriber Thomas, maybe it's Tomas, because he's Austrian. I'm going to say Tomas, who put his money where his mouth is and actually registered this deck at Eternal Weekend. This isn't just a throwaway to a YouTube channel. They really staked the biggest tournament of the year on Loam Pox, and I appreciate that. Another thing that I appreciate is the Austrian Legacy League. They've been supporting my channel basically since the beginning, and Tomas brought me an Island, a Ponder, and a Kobolds of Care Keep. Get it? Island, Ponder, Keep to sign and be featured in their LGS in Austria. It's just in their case with all their other cool stuff. That's just amazing to me, impacting a community in a country that I have not yet been to, but I hope to change that sometime in the near future. Island, Ponder, Kobolds of Care Keep. Exciting project. I'm happy that I was able to do this, and I'm glad it lives proudly in the Austrian Legacy League LGS. The organizer of that project is the creator of this deck. And we've seen Loam Pox on the channel before. Basically, the goal is small pox. Each player loses a life, discards a card, sacks a creature, sacks a land. Pretty miserable for everybody. Happens early, affects a lot of different resources for just 2 mana. And our deck is built to pull ahead on this, where opponents are built to fall behind to this. Some notes about this list in particular: 4 copies of Mox Diamond. I played Modern Pox recently, and this was the biggest loss that I felt, even more than like Hymn to Tarok or Wasteland. It was Mox Diamond that I missed the most. This list does not have Dark Ritual, though. Frequently, it's some split of Mox Diamond and Dark Ritual. This one is going for stability over speed. You could still be pretty fast with a Mox Diamond, but the 4 Thoughtseize kind of indicative of, I want to play kind of fair up the curve and just squeeze you as we get to the top, rather than Dark Ritual Thoughtseize him on turn 1 or Dark Ritual Liliana turn 1. I respect that. I always respect stability in deck building. Urza's Saga is the primary win condition here, and we have Life from the Loam to get back Wastelands, get back Sagas, get back Baron Moors that we've cycled, which I've just realized I have mismatching arts for. I'll try to fix that before the game starts. And this is pretty classic Loam Pox. Just squeeze opponents until they give up. Let's get into it. I'm on the draw in round 1. This hand is not particularly poxy, but I do have 2 pair of disruptive and annoying things I am going to keep. Someone joked in my comments the other day that Swamp Thoughtseize Keep is the alternate universe timeline of Island, Ponder, Keep, and I believe in that as well. I'm just saying. Hey, Badlands. They mulled to 6 and played Badlands. I suspect this is Reanimator, and hopefully there is a relevant thing I can take from them, and I'm not just enabling their deck right now. Entomb, Faithless Looting, Reanimate. Well, I take the Reanimate here, and hope I don't die, is the plan. They did not play the Entomb in the end step. That's interesting. Unmask, targeting me. Okay. Pitching one of the Entombs. Taking the other Thoughtseize. Did not play the Faithless Looting after looking at 2 Bowmasters. Okay. And if they drew a Animate Dead, it probably doesn't matter. Here's the Entomb. Or no, they pitched a card. I lost track somewhere. They literally only have Faithless Looting in their hand right now, plus whatever's on top of their deck. Okay. I will play the card that you saw. And I have Liliana, who can minus and clear an Atraxa, even if it comes into play this turn. They do get to draw some card, or not draw, but gain access to some cards along the way, of course. And if they don't do this right now, okay, that was the other thing they could do. They have to take the Liliana, because anything they didn't play there would have been discarded to the Liliana. Now I have double Bowmaster. I think I should just play this now and push more damage through. Because if they have to flashback Faithless Looting, they're going to take the damage anyway. And just getting an extra point in makes Reanimate a little worse. Okay, don't draw Animate Dead. Jesus Christ. Heckin' Reanimator, man. This deck is outrageous. I just need to draw one of my Pox or Edict effects. They got a full 6 card types off of the Atraxa, including Entomb, Animate Dead, the Grief pitched the Unmask. They get to strip this Thoughtseize. And if they Animate Dead the Grief here, it's kind of low impact, but it does insulate versus an Edict off the top, which is what I need here. Alright, deck. Smallpox right off the top. Dismember. If I dismember Atraxa, my Orc army does trade with it, but they're holding an Animate Dead. They could just refire it. I think I just attack with everything and cast Dismember. Though if they don't block the Orc army, if they block a Bowmaster instead, then I don't actually kill their Atraxa, and then they're winning the race. And they have Entomb Animate Dead in their hand. Okay, I'm going to send the Orc army. I think it's just too devastating if they block a Bowmaster. They correctly identified that the worst thing that could happen is not even that bad. And then they can just Entomb, Reanimate, whatever from here. Last 2 cards in hand are still perfect after all that. Here's the Entomb. Went for an Archon. I still think Atraxa is better than Archon to animate here. They agree. Good chance the 10 cards they look at will include a way to get back Archon, except they actually didn't. Some Faithless Lootings, Griefs, Archons. Faithless Looting's kind of risky to make a move on here, but make a move they shall. I mean, it's still, if you spike Archon here, you're in good shape, but that's not bad for me. Okay, if I deal 4 to Atraxa, and then they reanimate Archon, there will be a sack trigger that's still only 6 points on Atraxa, so I guess I just go face here. And we're back in the spot that I need to draw an Edict right now. Of course it's a heckin' Shallow Grave. Alright, well, luckily I don't actually sacrifice any creatures here. Unfortunately, I could have killed the Atraxa if I had known Shallow Grave was what's coming. And yeah, sack the Orc army, and then I just make another Orc army. Now, all things considered, that Shallow Grave was pretty medium. Okay, Smallpox. Let's just rip it here. Boseiju works too. I got some hits. That's not one of them. Ugh. Alright. That was a exciting and frustrating game 1. Just put them to top deck mode and they delivered multiple times. Ashiok, Game Ender, Surgical Extraction. I think I like Sphere of Resistance here too. Boseiju does have Text versus Animate Dead, which seems to be the only reanimation spell they know how to draw. Forget about Reanimate that they couldn't cast in most of the turns of that game. Alright, Dismember's out. Nile Spellbomb's great. Currency Converter's too slow. Sometimes they do have Magus in the Moon, though do I care is the question. Like, I could board out Basic Forest. Though reducing your land count in a Mox Diamond deck is always a little risky. I think Grist is probably worse than Ashiok, though Grist does kill creatures that have snuck through. I honestly think Bowmaster is not that good in general as well. Maybe the extra Boseiju is a little too cute. I'm just out of things I'm happy to cut. Needle can name Grizzlebrand. And if I'm cutting my Bowmasters, that actually does matter. Maybe it doesn't, though. Maybe my plan is still just don't give them a Grizzlebrand. Okay. I'm doing it like this. Turn 1, Sphere of Resistance with Surgical backup. Keep. It's actually kind of interesting thinking about Thoughtseize Surgical versus turn 1 Sphere, but I think it's turn 1 Sphere just all day here. Swamp, Mox, discard, Baron more, play the Sphere. Because I can Thoughtseize Surgical them with Sphere in play next turn. And they could Grief or Unmask me right now. Alright, they're just casting a Lotus Petal, saving up for a turn I hope they don't get. Bayou, Thoughtseize. We've got, they're on the creature pivot. I'm going to take the Dothy Voidwalker, as everything else is Reanimator adjacent, and I'm holding the Surgical. Delta, Animate Dead, targeting Voidwalker. I just actually don't want them to have any cards at all, so I am going to Surgical that. Let's look at this deck. There's no Magus in here. Wear Tear is in. And otherwise, they're just kind of sending it. Voidwalker, Wear Tear. I am now kind of shields down to their powerful hand if they find something like Faithless Looting. The Sphere of Resistance really good. If I ever find a Small Pox, that's insane here. A Wasteland is insane here. I just need to find like one of the things my deck does before my opponent finds what their deck does. Sheoldred's Edict. I mean, that's helpful. Kinda, I guess. Not in the way that I want. I want them to just not be able to cast any spells. There we go. Waste the Badlands. Now I feel much better. Now they can't even play this Dark Ritual to get the chain started. Alright, now I gotta win somehow. Resphere. You don't actually have to win if your opponent can't win. You can just make your opponent lose. Which is kind of the Pox way anyway. Thoughtseize. Entomb, Archon, Dark Ritual. They did not play a land that they could have played. That's really interesting. Why would you hide that from me? Oh, are you trying to surprise Entomb Reanimate? They could have Entombed here, though. And then, oh no, I have two of these. Dark Ritual is mana neutral at this point. I think Entomb is the card I'm worried about. Oh, did they go to... No, they went to clean up last turn. That's why they did that. I lost track of their cards in hand. That all makes sense. I should have taken the Animate if my brain was thinking about that. That was actually really bad. Never punished, though. And they have a second Grizzlebrand in their hand, so Surgicaling this one actually does create card advantage. Life from the Loam. This costs 4, and then Surgical costs 2. Just making sure I'm not tapping out of being able to do stuff here. Wasteland, pass. I can cycle Barrenmore. If nothing else happens, I have a draw engine online now. End step, cycle Barrenmore. Dredge Loam. Obviously, milled 3 insane cards. Second Loam. Pick the Barrenmore back up. They have discarded Archon now to hand size. Shallow Grave returns the top creature of your graveyard. I think I'm good on lands now. I'm just going to cycle for an actual card. There we go. Ashiok Game Ender. And Urza Saga. Everything's coming up Fonzie now. Bang. Can we get a concession? Yes, we can. All right. Sphere of Resistance. Still stupid after all these years. I think everything that could reasonably be in my deck still is. The Grist and the Pithing Needle. All right, well, I've already disproven the thing I just said. There are some things that could still be in my deck. I think Grist is worse than Sheoldred's Edict. I think Pithing Needle is worse than every other card that I'm playing. I'm in. Same deck. Let's go. Gotta get one on the draw. Yikes, this hand does not do anything. This hand doesn't do anything particularly quickly. It does have a Wasteland and Smallpox, first appearance of those. I will actually keep this. Go ahead, call me insane. I don't care. Sucks that I have to bottom one of these cards. But those are the rules. If I bottom the Wasteland, that's my cheapest form of interaction that I have. If I bottom one of these lands, I can't necessarily cast Smallpox on 2. If I bottom this land, I can't cycle for Surgical in an emergency. Okay, I think it's Barrenmore to the bottom. Let's hope they just Thoughtseize me or something. Shit. Oh, Voidwalker, okay. Are they also going to Thoughtseize me, though? They are. Unmasking me. They can put my Loam in the Void forever, or control my Smallpox, or just have the completely most insane nuts possible. Mox Diamond off the top for the win? Liliana, okay. That's not the win. Alright, pass the turn, and they have right now to cast Reanimate, and then they'll be in good shape. If they don't do that, they're in bad shape. Voidwalker getting in. Ooh, they didn't do it. Okay, folks. You're saying there's a chance. Get a Bayou, slam the Smallpox. Each player discards a card. The discard happens before the sacrifice, so this will go into the Void, unfortunately. I'm going to discard the Wasteland and just bet that they're going to sack their Scrubland because they've seen the Wasteland. I was right. Okay. They are hellbent with 1 mana. That is enough mana for a Reanimator to win the game with, though, if I don't find some graveyard hate pretty quickly. Urza Saga, Life from the Loam. And I'm doing my thing here. It's just they do have a 4 of in their deck that ends the game, basically on the spot if they hit it. I'm not charging Loam here. Ghost Quarter, not yet. Liliana is more important than a Construct token. Their graveyard is already full of heaters. I'm not worried about plussing Liliana here. And I can tutor Nile Spellbomb next turn if they don't kill me right now. Come on! Can't catch a break around here. Heckin' Reanimator. I mean, my hand is bad. They would have to reanimate an Archon this turn to kill Liliana, to not just be in mostly the same spot. I mean, they were about to just 100% lose the game on the spot and rip Animate dead. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to die now. Dothy Voidwalker. Okay, that does insulate against the Edict. That's another way out of this. Grief. This will hit nothing. Another Dark Ritual. They're not done yet. Animating Atraxa. Okay, fine. I get it. I get it. Okay. Twice we put Reanimator to you better do it this turn or you lose, and twice they did it. Good job. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw for round 2. This hand does feel slow, but I am playing a build of Pox with no Dark Rituals in it, and I don't know that I'm supposed to mulligan stable hands in this build, and I wish I could do something on turn 1. Thoughtseize or Mox Diamond are the best draws in my deck right now, but I can do stuff. Ooh, that's being stage. But I am a deck with Smallpox and Wasteland in it. I'm not going to Wasteland yet. I just feel like there's more meat on that bone. Bayou from the opponent. This looks like Turbo Depths. Dark Depths summoned from the deck. I'm going to fetch a Bayou, and I can Smallpox here. I could Hymn to Tarak here, or I could just sit Wasteland and play. And Smallpox actually kills Merit Lage, so I'm going to Hymn to Tarak them, and then I can, if the Dark Depth survives the Hymn, I can Wasteland, force the action, and then Smallpox all next turn. Yeah, this is a Hymn to Tarak situation. Please don't hit a Life from the Loam. Not every build of Green Depths actually plays Life from the Loam. There's like Fast Depths and then Slow Depths, which are different decks. Okay, so I lose to a Spirit Guide here if I don't make my move, which means I should probably make my move. Wasteland, target the Depths. If they make Dark Depths in response here, they will have no permanence when I pass the turn. I would rather remove the stage, but there's a basic land in play that they can copy. They did pitch a Spirit Guide, and they copied Bayou. Fascinating. Was that a misclick? Or is that the strat somehow? Interesting. What's that about? I could Smallpox now and just get them down to 1 land to play the game on. Okay, they said in the chat that was a misclick, which is actually super awkward for me because I wanted to put them to 0 permanence this turn. I didn't want them to have another Bayou. Now they're just like weirdly doing better than they were if they didn't do it that way. Ugh. Tough beats. Here's a Saga. I'm going to attack and then play Liliana. I would lose to Crop Rotation plus Spirit Guide here, and I'm just going to hope they can't put all that together this turn, because once Liliana ticks up a couple times, the ability to grind through it becomes much harder, or to combo me out of nowhere. I'm actually going to dump this Baron more. I think that everything I need to win the game is in front of me. I just need to not be dead in the meantime. Ooh, Duress stripping my Smallpox, that's hurtful. Now they know how lucky they got by misclicking. If you're an Urborg, I will discard that to Liliana because I'm not going to help my opponent make mana with their Dark Depths. Urza Saga number 2. Time to just sprint for the exit here, get this game over with. End step, make a construct. They just passed without a play. Mox Diamond. And I'm not even upset to see that, actually. It is an extra artifact in play. It's extra damage. And I'm going to get the Pithing Needle, and I'm going to name Bayou, because their Thespian Stage is a Bayou. That is the name of that card right now. And it would not help me to name Thespian Stage at this point. Attack for 6. Liliana can ultimate if that becomes appropriate. And we did it. That game took longer than it needed to because of a misclick from my opponent, which is really funny. Surgical Extraction. Normally I don't like Extraction versus Depths decks, but I am pretty good at putting Dark Depths in the graveyard against their will. Their whole deck is kind of built on searching. I like Ashiok for the passive, not necessarily for the minus. Bowmaster probably doesn't matter. Nile Spellbomb shouldn't matter, especially with Ashiok kind of covering that. Grist doesn't kill the thing it would need to kill in this matchup to be relevant. I can see arguments for Sphere of Resistance or Shadow Spear, because if you get over 20 life, it actually becomes really hard for them to kill you. Because even their tricky end-step protection spell lines, you still get another shot to remove the Merit Lage. I don't think that's how I'm going to approach this, though. I feel massively structurally favored against this deck if I just don't dilute what I'm doing too badly. Thoughtseize and a Wasteland variant. It's not as good as Wasteland, obviously, but it destroys Dark Depths before a Merit Lage gets made, all the same. Urborg, Pithing Needle. Okay, they're going to name Wasteland, but I have Ghost Quarter in my hand. Played around it. Got him. Bayou, Thoughtseize. Hopefully there's actually spells in their hand. Lotus Petal, Sylvan Scrying. Hexmage. I think Hexmage is actually the one I'm most worried about, because that has other text. That could just kill Liliana by taking all the counters off her. It can reset my Urza Saga back down to 1. It can attack and block, all of which are things that Dark Depths doesn't do on its own. They played a Verdant Catacombs, a card that I did not see in their hand a moment ago when I saw their hand. Yeah, they're just fetching a basic to scry with. And they did get the Depths. Thespian Stage is kind of a concern in the matchup, just on the face of the card, because it can copy Urza Saga. Okay, speaking of Urza Saga, I am going to get this going. I'm going to play Currency Converter. And if they main phase the Merit Lage, Liliana gets it. If they don't main phase the Merit Lage, Ghost Quarter gets it. Got them in the squeeze. Dark Depths, Petal. Saga ticks up. I'd love a Mox Diamond here. No love. Okay, I'm just going to run out Ghost Quarter. If their one unknown card in hand is Crop Rotation, they could win in the end step there. Just putting down the Ghost Quarter, so that's not an option. And I can tap Ghost Quarter to make a construct here and not feel too bad about it. Because if they make Dark Depths in the end step, I just Edict it on my turn. I don't mind tapping out a GQ, as long as I'm not taking 20 right away. Ooh, they do have Life from the Loam. Confirmed. Getting back Verdant Catacombs and Nurturing Peatland. Construct. And I don't think I can make another construct here. No, I leave up Ghost Quarter. Float black, thanks Urborg. Do I want Mox Diamond or Pithing Needle? I think I actually want Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond lets me Thoughtseize and Liliana, or Thoughtseize and Ashiok. Needle can name Thespian Stage and just cut off half their deck. I think I want the Diamond. Discard Catacombs, which goes into the Currency Converter, which becomes a treasure, which makes my construct bigger. Thoughtseize you with my floating mana. Deju have the Crop Rotation. Tamio Safekeeping. Okay. Perfect information. The hand is all lands. Verdant Catacombs, Ashiok Game Ender. This turns off the Verdant Catacombs in their hand and wipes out the Loam that's in the graveyard. And then I attack for 4. Make a treasure. Okay, a lot of their deck doesn't work now with Ashiok in play. Peatland draws a card, that's fine. They are way ahead of me on resources because of that Loam. If I start playing Liliana and plussing, like, they're actually ahead on that. Okay, a second Needle. This probably names Ghost Quarter. I probably should have GQ'd the Depths in response. It's better just to not have that card in play. That was a bleed. Backup Ashiok. Well, you don't need 2 of those. Liliana plus I can discard Ashiok into the Currency Converter, which makes a Rogue. They discarded the Catacombs. That sucks anyway. Attack for 4. I'm trying to determine if activating Ashiok is good, bad, or irrelevant. Because I want the passive in play. I don't think this opponent can deal 1 random damage. Yeah, I'll just try to spike important cards out of their deck. I don't even know if this makes sense to do, but it's happening. Okay, my failure to Ghost Quarter last turn does mean they have a bunch of outs here. If they just play Thespian Stage, I'm in some trouble. X-Mage doesn't do it for them, because I could just Liliana, and then they have to sacrifice either the Hex Mage or the Depths, or the Lage. 2-2 in the end step. Another Mox Diamond. Do I think that's better than access to Takenuma? Probably not. Or probably. Whatever the thing is that I just said is what I meant. Plus Liliana. I don't really have a backup plan here, so if they... I don't even know how they make Merilage here, because Ashiok stops crop rotation. I think I'm pretty safe to just beat here. And make another treasure. They are dead on board. They can't search their deck. I'll keep taking pot shots with Ashiok. Just exiled a bunch of random cards from their deck. I don't even know if that matters. It's probably bad. They are not quite dead on board. If I had not played Mox Diamond last turn, I could have discarded that into the currency converter and be pushing lethal this turn, but it would have been 2 damage less because I wouldn't have the treasure or the diamond. No, that's actually the same damage. Never mind. It's fine. Hex-Mage can kill Ashiok or Liliana. Hex-Mage does not beat Liliana just because of the timing of the Magic the Gathering rules. Oh, that's extra messed up. Okay. I'm going to make my opponent sacrifice a creature. And the Smallpox is actually lethal here, even if their hand is somehow... Like, if they sack Hex-Mage to kill Ashiok, and then their hand is Crop Rotation Spirit Guide, I still have that beat with the Smallpox, because they're at 3, and a 2-2 will get through. They are killing Ashiok in response. They have no creature to sacrifice. Let's do it. Smallpox. Oh, they're just taking combat damage. That's boring. I was so ready to Smallpox or exactly lethal. Yeah, this matchup feels insanely positive just based on what my deck is trying to do versus what their deck's trying to do. Stick 1 creature, I'm full of edicts. Do stuff with lands, I'm full of wastelands and small boxes and ghost quarters. On to the next one. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the draw for round number 3. I have Swamp Thoughtseize Keep. Opponent mulls to 6. Urza's Saga to start the game. I could just Wasteland this thing, or I could Thoughtseize them and see what they were planning to do with it. If I Wasteland it next turn, or if I Wasteland the Ancient Tomb they were going to use to activate this next turn, I think I want to Thoughtseize them and see what they're up to. Okay, it's Jewel. I think I want to take the Phyrexian Metamorph, though Metamorph is only good if they have Jewel. Okay, I'm taking the Jewel. Quit messing around, just take the good card. Petals in play. Oh no, they drew a ring. Cut it out! Alright, well, that was a good draw. Hopefully my Orcish Bowmasters can get some sort of lid on the situation. Do I just play Bowmaster now? I don't think so. I think I just play my land and pass. Oh, that was an annoying draw. I thought seized you so this wouldn't happen. I don't think they're going to have a Needle, but I am going to fetch in response just in case they do. I don't think they would get Needle here. I think they get a Key here. Yep. And now they have multiple ring activations per turn. They could draw 2 cards now. I'm going to let that happen because if they Metamorph my Bowmaster, that kills Bowmaster. All right, I'll send it on this try because this is as good as this is going to get this turn, even if they kill it right away. This gives me the biggest creature in play. There's the Saga we knew about from their 7-card hand now. Phyrexian Metamorph, taking no damage to cast it. Copying Bowmasters, killing my Bowmasters, yep. Maybe I'm just supposed to Wasteland them to start the game, and I can Thoughtseize them on turn 2. Okay, drawing another Bowmaster here is kind of the nuts. If I lead on my Bowmaster. I do just want this thing in play to start the turn. I don't want them to be able to play chicken with the ring against me. And I'm going to wasteland the Urza Saga, not the Ancient Tomb. The Ancient Tomb hurts them to use it, and the Saga gums up the board. And I have to beat them on board here, because their combo is already doing the thing. They go to 8 on their draw step, or in their upkeep. Jewel's bad, PO's bad, tapping the ring is bad. They could get away with one of those things. They have 8 life to work with here. Another Metamorph, okay. That did cost them 4 life to use, because they had to tap Ancient Tomb and pay the Troll Toll, but that might be plenty to win the game with. They can draw another 9 cards right now between tapping the ring and tapping the ring with Key. And then if their 9 cards win the game, then they win the game. If not, they take 5 on their next upkeep and they die. Simeon Spirit Guide pitched, that's horrifying. Grim Monolith, now the gates are starting to open up. We'd have to be really lucky for them to fail from this position. The ring has drawn 15 cards this game. Played a new ring. Okay. As far as ways they could spend a boatload of mana, that one is not too bad for me, actually. Interesting. We are getting a turn. Not that I have high hopes for what's possible here, though Boseiju does mix things up a bit. I think I want to play Ghost Quarter and Currency Converter, as I can channel Boseiju, which gives me a treasure. There's no reason to attack here, because they have protection. Maybe I could trick them into jump blocking with their Orc Army, but I don't have high hopes for that. Okay, I need Boseiju to be enough to somehow stop this opponent who has 8 cards in their hand, now 9 after their draw step. They can make it 11 plus 3, 14. They can have 14 cards in their hand here. And if they try to like Karn Lattice me or something, I can break that up. They're at 1 if they use their Ancient Tomb. This is more exciting than I feel like it should be. Okay, they're going for mana. I feel like we should have been dead last turn. But instead, we're hanging out. Having fun. Paradox Engine. Okay. That's a Boseiju target. Yeah, as they tap the ring, I'm gonna Boseiju the engine before they get to cast any spells and untap anything. Something's happening in response. They're gonna PO all their cards back up. They go to 1. And they get to float 1,000,000 and draw a bunch of cards in response. Yep. Using all their mana to float a bunch of mana, draw 2 cards, pick everything up. They can replay. Yeah, they could draw their deck here. I'm good. You did it. Sphere of Resistance coming in. Boseiju coming in. They do play Transmute Artifact in some number, but I don't think I want Ashiok. I don't think I want Surgical either. Sheoldred's Edict does very little. Dismember does very little. Grist does very little. Spellbomb does very little. Is Spellbomb worse than one of these other cards that I'm already playing? Or already planning to cut? And discard plus Surgical is always a thing versus a deck like this. I don't know if it's where I want to be with my energy. Guess they have Urza Sagas also. That Ashiok effects, Urza Saga and Transmute Artifact, that doesn't feel like enough. Yeah, with the Lilianas and Smallpoxes, though, they don't even have that many creatures. What am I worried about with Sheoldred's Edict? In Spellbomb, at least cantrips, if it's bad. And I don't actually know if the current build plays Emery or not. I don't think it does. Okay, I'm gonna try it like this and hope it's good. Oh, 1 lander with double Thoughtseize and Life from the Loam. This is so close to what I want. I'm keeping. Feel like I have to take some risks here anyway. And this hand, just if I find a land in my first 2 draw steps, I get to do what I want. Copy Artifact, Grim Monolith, Paradoxical Outcome, Double Force of Will. Enters as a copy of any artifact. I think I want to take the Grim Monolith here. Seprison Scary is in land. It's almost a land in the most insulting way possible. Thoughtseize you again. Force of Will, PO, copy artifact, Metamorph. I think I take Metamorph, actually. That was a big turn to brick. There's Saga, which I can work through. I can still hit the land and be okay here. Land, any land, easy, easy. I'm going to play Mox Diamond, because this gives me the most value off life from the Loam, and if they force this, it doesn't matter. I just hit my land drop. We did it. Loam targeting my lands. They might force the Loam, but I think that would be a mistake too. I'm pretty okay if that happens. Yep, cool. They do have force blue card. Unfortunately, their blue density was just too high for me to actually impact that meaningfully with my Thoughtseizes. All right, I'm going to get Bayou, and then I think I just spam Bowmasters at them. Ooh, Sphere of Resistance. I like that. Okay, my plan here is to spam Bowmasters at them, make them use their forces, and then I have Sphere plus Smallpox on the following turn. And Saprosan Scary just dies if you pump out constructs. So, like, there's not even constructs to pump out here. Okay, they're making one now instead of in the end step, which would have been the same thing except their mana's open this turn. Okay, force pitching PO. And another Bowmaster. These are just Hymn to Tarax. Force pitching copy artifact. Okay. And now the coast is clear for Smallpox to put them to whatever comes out of this Urza Saga and no other permanents. Opal Petal. Okay, I mean, this is an insane Smallpox. I'm not going to dredge Loam yet. What I'm going to do is play Sphere of Resistance and then play Smallpox. Sphere. Check your interaction. Play Boseiju as a land, and then I'm going to sack Boseiju to the Smallpox, so it's in the graveyard for Loam. And we're pretty close to a hard lock here, unless they have a third force blue card. Jeez, they do? I just saw their life total go down. Oh, okay, that was just Smallpox resolving. Good news, everybody. We're in good shape. I like my spot here. I start dredging Loam, I can pick up Boseijus, hit my land drops. Urza Saga's in my deck somewhere. Nice, okay. Just had to work through those forces. And I don't think my deck improves. I don't think I've learned anything that changes any of my information. And I'm going to hit submit. That was a very satisfying Pox game. Even missed a land drop, still just picked them apart. Missed a land drop, they had double force, doesn't matter. Get out. I like Boseiju, I like Hymn to Tarax, I like Smallpox. I like everything about this hand except that it doesn't do anything on turn 1. But again, we decided not to register Dark Ritual. Our turn 1 plays are fewer than they would be otherwise. And I think we just accept that and live with it. I'm going to keep my hand. And I'm going to top deck Thoughtseize or Mox Diamond and make this easy. Thoughtseize! Anyone who has told you that Magic is a difficult or complicated game is just wrong. You just draw your best card all the time. It's fine. And I think I start with a Hymn to Tarax to soften them up. The Smallpox is just as good next turn. Even if they make a construct in response to the Pox, then the construct dies. Like, it doesn't even matter if they accelerate out of this saga. I hit Ancient Tomb in the One Ring. Pretty happy with that exchange. Light from the Loam? Liliana of the Veil. Interesting. I think I actually just slam Smallpox here and discard Liliana. I could play out Boseiju, sack that, but I'd rather have that in my hand. I think I sack Bayou, discard Liliana. Smallpox. Force of Will pitching PO. You got it. Urza Saga, go in. Alright, they got 2 cards left. I can control a board of constructs, but they do get to make both of them and get a tutor off here. I can Boseiju and Smallpox next. No, I can't. I need 1 more mana. The Boseiju is both the effect I want to do and the land drop I would need to do that. Mox Opal, Lotus Petal, 2 mana available, 4/4s in play. They're bashing. Land would be cool. Oh, hell yeah. Urborg even. Just make it all work. Urborg, Smallpox. I discard Liliana. I was actually supposed to float because I wanted to sack the Bayou. No, I'll just sack the Urborg. It's fine. And I'm not going to Boseiju until their turn. That gives them 1 more draw step to draw a basic. If they even have one. If they have one, they probably have exactly one, and letting them draw for turn gives them an opportunity to draw their 1 basic, and then Boseiju is just Vindicate. City of Traders. In combat, I'm going to hit the Construct, which will turn off Mox Opal, so this is actually mana neutral, and they didn't even have a basic. It's mana negative. Cool. That was good for 2. Now I have a Construct, and we'll see what happens from here. Nile Spellbound, Currency Converter, Pithing Needle. I can Needle, naming Manifold Key, or I could Spellbomb, which is at least a cantrip. Currency Converter is card selection for the rest of the game. Moving forward, I'm going to do that. Okay, opponent has 3 mana right now. They have a lot of good draws in their deck. Like, if they can get a ring into play, they're way ahead. But this is what I got Currency Converter for. Draw and discard. Discard this Swamp. Put it under the Converter. Cycle the Baron more. Put that under the Converter. Wasteland? Oh, Mox Diamond. All right. In for 3. If nobody does anything, I win. But if they resolve a ring, they probably win. Maybe I was just supposed to get Needle this whole time with the Currency Converter. I have some Buyer's Remorse on that. Ooh. Let's have a look. What you got? They do have a ring. I will take that. And attack for 4 after I make my treasure. Put the Baron more in the graveyard because that's better with Loam. And I attack for 5 this turn. Ooh, another one. Thoughtseize you again. Let's get that Transmute out of here. PO. I'm more worried about Transmute, I think. Attack for 5. Okay, opponent's at 6. If I draw a land, I can play Mox Diamond, and they're dead. We did it! That was a tight one. Once again, just like in the Reanimator match, it came down to we had everything under control if they didn't spike in an essential top deck, and they did in game 1, which they won, and they didn't in game 2 and 3, which I won. That's the Pox life. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. On the draw, yet again, with another Swamp Thoughtseize Keep. I will keep this hand. And to be fair, if we weren't on the draw every round, I wouldn't be able to cold call my best card to draw. It's just adding to the content, making everything harder. Even though Pox is one of the most play-forward decks that there is, like as far as play-draw benefiting you or being relevant, it is much better to be on the play when you're Pox compared to like some blue cantrip deck or whatever. Speaking of cantrips, opponent pondered, and they bobbled. They saw my Pithing Needle. Basic Swamp. Let's have a look. What do you got over there? What are you doing? Dress down Brainstorm, Brainstorm, Wasteland. All right, I'll take the nice-looking Brainstorm. This one sucks. You can have that. And there is a fetch land in the hand that if they don't play, I can Needle and get in a proactive Stone Rain done. Seems unlikely that they wouldn't play it, though, given that their hand has Brainstorm in it. Yep, those are the 2 cards I expected to see this turn. They're happening right now. Cracking their fetch. Volcanic Island. Do they have the Channeler? They do have the Channeler. It is Delirious. Though it doesn't have to be. I have Nile Spellbomb in my hand. Children's Edict. I like that card. I don't like their Wasteland will find a target here. I'm just going to take 1,000,000 damage to Thoughtseize them and then dismember their creature. Oh, they got rid of the Wasteland. Fascinating. Okay. I can Children's Edict this Murktide Regent. I'm actually going to strip a Ponder and then dismember this Channeler right now. What's going on here? It's just clicking dismember wrong. Figured it out. Okay, if they shove the Murktide, I can Edict it. If they don't shove the Murktide, I can Spellbomb and Time Walk them for a while. Oh yeah, balling out, as you should. Hope they didn't draw Daze or Force of Will. Alright, Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Please, fingers crossed, it's dead. We did it. I think putting Baron more into play is important enough against the Wasteland Daze deck, even though I'm holding this Loam, and I would like to get that engine going. A Small Pox is a nut draw here. If I can reduce their lands to play the game while clearing the board, it's always among the best things you can do. Wasteland would actually be a pretty reasonable draw here, because I can Wasteland, Loam back 2 things, Nile Spellbomb, Cantrip. Did not shuffle, and did not play a land. Wasteland, once again, just shouting out the card I want to draw, and it appearing immediately. If one of these spells gets dazed, I prefer it to be the Loam, so I'm going to lead on Spellbomb, and then Loam back these 2 lands. I can't imagine they would have stacked a land on top if they wanted to flip this Delver. And I think they would have played a land if they had one last turn. I think they're going to be playing on basic island for a little while here. They did just flip a Ponder, which can find a land. And my life total is pretty low against a 3-power creature. I do need to answer this thing. If I answer this thing, I'll feel really good about the game. If I don't, I'll feel really bad. Did not shuffle. Did hit a land, which I'm pretty sure is the card they just kept based on the things I've said already. Fetched a Volcanic Island, knowing that there was a Wasteland in my hand. I kind of expect a Dragon's Rage Channeler right now. Second Delver, okay. That qualifies. Small Pox, still an insane draw. Not charging Loam, I need spells here. Oh, Grist, the Hunger Tide. First appearance in the league. Play Wasteland, play Grist. Plus, make a bug. Wasteland, their Volk. And hope this Delver doesn't flip. Upkeep Brainstorm. If there's a spell anywhere in the 4 cards they're looking at, then the Delver will flip. We know Dresstown is in the mix somewhere. It's possible they whiff here. Unlikely, though. Wow, they missed. Hook that to my veins. Mishra's Bauble. Good with Dragon's Rage Channeler, bad with Delver. It'll be interesting now if they keep going face, or if they take time to soften Grist up and plan for a turn where they win all at once. Yeah, alright. The Delver is attacking Grist. And I go to my turn. They draw for Bauble. I draw for turn. Still can't afford to dredge Loam. Plus Grist. Mill to him to Turok. Wasteland you. Nile Spellbomb, draw a card. Come on, Smallpox. Come on, Bowmaster. Come on, Sheoldred's Edict. I drew another Wasteland. That's not what I wanted. I might be in some trouble here. One of these bugs can attack. Miss, 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 miss. Delver flipped. Now we're in trouble. I don't know that I can... Or, I guess, if they don't spend one of these attacks killing Grist this turn, then Grist can kill one of the bugs next turn. And I'm at 5. Oh, they're spending all their effort on Grist. Okay. That gives me 2 draws here. Come on. Relevant spells. 2 in a row. Runner, runner. Liliana. No! Thoughtseize makes me dead. I cannot kill 2 bugs in 1 turn cycle. Let me check the deck real quick. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay. Just a couple too many threats that game. Against Delver, I like Sphere of Resistance. I have options on Shadow Spear. I'll think about that. Options on Plague Engineer. There are a lot of humans in their deck. I don't think I can afford Ashiok, even though I do think they're pretty good. Pithing Needle doesn't matter. Uh-oh, I like all my other cards. Where am I going to find all these cuts? Yeah, I do actually just like every other card in the deck. I could cut some Thoughtseizes, because they are bad top decks in the late game like we just saw, but so is Sphere of Resistance, which is what I'd be bringing in that spot. Maybe Plague Engineer is better than Grist, just because it impacts the board immediately. Like we just saw Grist resolve, and I just had nothing to sacrifice. There aren't exactly a lot of stray creatures floating around here for me to use in that way. Maybe Currency Converter can become Shadow Spear. If I do this, that makes my turn 1's a lot worse, but my turn 5's a lot better. Oh, Toxic Deluge should probably be in the deck too. Oh no, this is hard. Maybe I shave a Sphere and just bring in all this removal, the life gain. Okay, I'll try it like this. I'm not convinced that that's the best configuration, but it's what I got. I have a turn 1 Sphere. I'll keep. I'm gonna play Mox Diamond. Opponent mulled to 5. Discard Boseiju. Play Bayou. Play Sphere. And we get a non-game. I would love an easy non-game. Like they could Wasteland me here and try to play the annoying, scrappy Sphere game. That does appear to be what's happening. Basic Forest. Yeah, I'll hide my Wasteland. And if they mull to 5 and waste me under a Sphere when I've accelerated my mana already, that's not actually good for their longevity. It's just kind of an emergency stopgap. I'm perfectly fine with that exchange. I'm also going to Wasteland them before I try to get Urza Saga going, because they've put 2 lands in the graveyard already on the mull to 5 under Sphere of Resistance. Why give them a chance to hit their land drop and play a Delver or something, and then I got to worry about that, when I could just worry about nothing. And now they're just passing with no plays. Or is a Saga? Win condition established. Can't cast these double black spells. The Forest is a bit of a stinker, but I'm okay with the board state. Cool, we got the non-game. The Sphere is worse on the draw than it is on the play. Is Thoughtseize better in any sort of meaningful way that is important to me? It's easier to Thoughtseize on turn 1 than it is to Sphere on turn 1. If I'm on the draw and they have Delver of Secrets pass, would I rather wait 2 turns to Sphere and then maybe that constricts my ability to interact with Delver, or would I rather Thoughtseize them for 1 mana and see what the rest of their game plan is and sculpt mine? I feel like these Thoughtseizes are better on the play, or better on the draw, and Sphere was better on the play. I'm just going to try it like this. That makes sense to me. Okay, Orcish Bowmaster I'm very happy with. Hymn to Tarak I'm pretty stoked about. I'm not stoked with how soft to Wasteland my hand is. And they had a Ponder instead of a threat on turn 1. That immediately takes a lot of pressure off of me. As this hand really starts to sing on 2 mana, and then going into turn 3, turn 4, I like what it's doing. Currently stinks a little bit, though. And them taking a Ponder instead of sticking a Delver buys me a lot of time. I'm going to play the Baron more. I care the least if that one gets Wastelanded. And it's the worst one if I need it to be a land drop at any point in the game. They do have a Wasteland. They did use it. And they did find a threat. All of the things I didn't really want to happen. Okay, basic Swamp now accessible. I would have led on this if I had access to it. Oh, I have Urborg. Maybe I just get the Forest, actually. No, I'm not going to mess around with that, because if they waste Urborg and then it takes me off multiple spells, that sucks. Shadow Spear's in play. Delver, please don't flip. Brainstorm. Okay, they have decided to aggressively push damage here. Delver revealed another Brainstorm. That's good news for my Bowmaster. Bobble. Bug is attacking. They're bobbling me now. I think I am best served by casting Hymn to Tarak right now. The Bowmaster doesn't necessarily do anything. If I can clear the runway for this Liliana, she'll answer the Bug. Daze, always annoying. But at least it didn't hit my Liliana. Ponder, okay. I was worried about them slamming a Murktide here. I'm not really well set up for that at the moment. Did not shuffle their library. They've seen the Dismember off the Bobble. I don't think they've seen a Bowmaster out of me yet in this match. Cool, I could fetch basic Forest here, or I could just leave this in play as the land that it is. I am going to Dismember the Bug for full life point pain. If they try to Brainstorm over the top of this, then Bowmaster eats their lunch. Force of Negation, pitching Brainstorm. Okay, that's legal. That was a lot of damage I just took. I have to hope that this was all in service of a stable game in the near future. If they cast any cantrip this turn, I can pick off Delver. If they don't, if they just dump out creatures, I'm in some trouble. Okay, I'm going to Bowmaster in the end step. Just going to try to sniff out more counter magic. Ping you. Bowmaster can pick up Shadow Spear, if nothing else. Wasteland. Okay. I'm going to play Wasteland and then cast Liliana. I'm going to use the Wasteland to play around Daze. Spell Pierce. Hate that. Well, probably just lost. Do you have a Lightning Bolt? Floating blue. Please cast a blue spell here. Anyone is fine. Alright, nope. Well, I'm at 3, facing down a Delver. They did not bolt me in response, but I am all in here. Down to 3. Removal spell, Smallpox. Ooh, Rebowmaster. I do like that. Equip Shadow Spear to Orc Army, because that will get bigger. That actually gains back all of the life that the Delver is currently pushing. And I am just jamming this in. We don't have room to play around anything here. Alright, I'm dead as soon as they find a Lightning Bolt, but I am in pretty good shape otherwise. Murktide Regent, also a scary card that their deck contains. And now they have 2 mana to play that. And they have it, naturally, of course. Okay, I'm in some danger here. I don't think I have a removal spell that can pick off Murktide, but not without them just eating the Delver instead. I don't think I have ways to force them to draw cards. Alright, draw for turn. Good card, please. That's not it. Alright. Outdone by Delver. Tough match on the draw. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I am on the play, finally in a round. Now I just can't be stopped. I will keep this hand. Swamp Thoughtseize, Urza Saga Loam. These are all cards I like. I am going to fetch Bayou here because that's the thing that gives me the best Loam on turn 2 and cast Thoughtseize on turn 1 and cast Loam. That gives me the target for Loam and the colors to cast all my spells, even though it is wastable versus this Yorion deck that might be Death Indexes. Okay, it's not Death Indexes. Force of Will, Zenith. I think I just take their Force of Will. If my spells resolve, hopefully they'll be able to control what my opponent's up to. That's my bet anyway. Liliana, one of the better big payoffs in the deck. Mox Diamond would be a bonkers draw, as usual. Especially if they Zenith for Dryad Arbor here. Oh, that's not going to Zenith. That's going to Ponder. Okay, Ponder is cast. I mean, Mox Diamond is still one of the best draws. That's always true. That is the most broken card in this deck by a lot, I think. Maybe Wasteland, which I also drew, but not helpful right now. Abstractly broken card is Wasteland. Loam, pick up the land. And Wasteland Loam, getting that going this early. They can fetch some basics, but at some point they're going to have to stop. If they Zenith for Dryad Arbor, Liliana just chows down. B-Storm. There's the Taiga, okay. And the Zenith for the Arbor. I will put them to the test on if they found another force with all their cantripping right away. Not going to dredge Loam yet. I am going to fetch basic Swamp and shove this Liliana. She's in there, just Stone Rain you with additional value. Yeah, denying that land now and knowing that I have Wasteland for the Taiga next turn, there's a lot to like here. Windswept Heath. If they have some bullshit like Leovold right now, that would be a bummer. Leovold does not come out of that mana. They could Prismatic Ending Lily. It's already a 2-for-1 though. Okay, it's a Zenith for another Dork. Delighted Halfling. Okay. Small Pox off the top for the win. Barrenmore. That's not it. Okay. I can make a construct and Wasteland them. Or I can cycle Barrenmore. I can just float mana, cycle Barrenmore. I can get Mox Diamond here. Yeah, I'm gonna just cycle Mox Diamond, discard Verdant Catacombs, Wasteland, take out your Savannah. White's got to be more important than red. Swords to Plowshares, it's a card gone from the hand. Plus Lily, that's another card gone from your hand. I'm going to discard this Bayou. And is there any reason to cycle now versus next turn? They discarded an Uro, that sucks ass. Okay. I'll cycle now. Not going to dredge Loam yet. Hymn to Turok. That's a useful spell someday. If they have a blue or green source of mana, they can play Uro here, which is, as always, the nightmare against discard decks. That card was not in their hand last time I saw it. Smallpox remains my best draw. Oh no, that's so much worse. I was worried about Uro and they just have multiple Nut Legends to cast here. Okay, well, I'm dead. I could have worked through Uro. I cannot beat a Minsc & Boo in any universe here. Concede. Just nothing to be done about that. Get wrecked me. I like the Spheres. I like Ashiok, both as graveyard control and their Zenith fetchland base strategy. I actually don't like Grist. I just don't think that card is very good in the deck. I would like to do something else with that slot if I were to work on the deck again. Hymn to Turok's pretty dangerous, though also pretty powerful. Thoughtseize Bowmaster, Pithing Needle. I don't think I'm going to have room for these Plague Engineers. I was going to name Hamster with that and ignore Minsc & Boo. But I think making their 4-drop uncastable is a better strategy. I'm going to cut the Dismembers, even though we've seen some Mana Dorks. I still have Poxes and Edicts and Bowmasters for those. With Ashiok coming in, I'm going to let Ashiok do the work and cut this Spell Bomb, even though we saw Uro. I think I'm cutting my basic Forest. They're not going to have a Blood Moon in their deck, and I can wade through a Wasteland. It's fine. And maybe down one Liliana. Okay, I will try this. hand with Mox Diamond and something powerful to do on turn 1. That's what I want. Very powerful things to do starting turn 2. I guess I will keep this. Play Baron more and pass. If they just wasteland me and I don't play the game, that would be the dirtiest justice there's ever been. Okay. I just need to draw lands and my hand is insane. I think sticking, or at least trying to stick a sphere here is worth doing. They just didn't do anything on turn 1. If they have to force this, that's great for me. I could get locked by my own sphere here pretty easily, actually, if I miss my land drop and they hit their next 2. Fetching in response. Volcanic Island, Brainstorm. Okay, Volcanic Island doesn't cast a Mana Dork. The thing I'm most worried about is they go land Mana Dork and I miss my land drop. The thing I'm most hoping for is they go land Mana Dork and I hit my land drop, because then I could Smallpox and they can't force. All right, moment of truth. Thing's about to be tested. There's the Mana Dork. I can win or lose the game right now. Untapped land, untapped land, untapped land. Another sphere. Okay, I'm going to lose to my own deck here. Son of a biscuit. And I did board out a forest, and I'm holding 4 sideboard cards here. One of these might have been the forest. If I did this, and then I could Smallpox. If they wasteland me when I'm already failing to play the game, I'm going to lose for sure. If they hesitate on the wasteland for any reason, like if they want to cast a 4-drop next turn, they're going to need that wasteland. Land? Alright, I'm dead. I don't actually need to see more. Like, obviously, I could make that last a little while, but they didn't waste me when I was locked under my own sphere, and they were about to do something, some 4-drop. Yeah, unfortunate end, getting locked under my own sphere. Classic Pox. You live and die by the top of your deck a lot of the time. I still like Pox. I missed Dark Ritual in this build. I didn't like Grist. Dismember feels like a specific answer to a specific problem that I don't know that I'd want in the main deck. Between the Edicts, Pox, Liliana's Bowmasters, and Discard, this is just sort of a very life-expensive way to deal with something. Maybe these should be 2 Dark Rituals. I missed the explosivity. I felt like we were playing slightly too fair. Every hand with Mox Diamond in it felt insane, and every hand without Mox Diamond in it felt pretty medium. I know in the past I've spent a lot of effort and words in these videos talking about the splits between Mox Diamond and Dark Ritual, because there is a point where that's just too much acceleration and you don't have any action in your deck. I think 4-2 would be pretty cool, though. And then you're just exploding more often and making your opponent catch up more often. Because you have to play from a position where your opponent is catching up to you for Pox to work. You basically can't catch up with anyone unless you resolve a clutch Smallpox. Otherwise, it's really hard to catch up from behind. Box rules, though. Tomas, thank you for sharing this with us. Power to you for registering Pox at Eternal Weekend. I could never have the courage. Mad respect for that. Shout out to the Austrian Legacy League and everyone else who watches the videos. Thanks for being here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.